What is up, guys? My name is Noah. This is the Gun Row Garage, and today we're going to work at getting the subframe in the Camaro. Alright, so the nice part about these second gens is you can actually remove the entire front clip of the car separate of the vehicle. So we got to go through and unbolt all these little bolts throughout here. Honestly, I got to find them. I have no clue how to do this. I'm just going to figure it out. Yeah, let's jump into that. Alright, so we got the front end pulled off. Wasn't too bad. We were getting a little caught up down here with the fenders that kind of rotate down. So we ended up pulling the front wheels off so that we could slide it out a little more. Got the radiator out. All in all, wasn't too bad. It's actually pretty cool the way that all comes off in one piece like that. So now we can actually get access to the subframe. My plan is, for now, I have to find an engine hoist to get this to lift up, but I believe I'm gonna go through and pull all this out just because we're not running heat or AC or anything, so we can clean up this firewall a little bit. As far as the engine goes, I don't think I'm gonna completely pull it out right now. I'm trying to just get this back on the road until this winter, and then I can worry about cleaning all the engine up, but I might just throw some paint on it here and there just to make it look a little better. But for now, our main focus is just going to be the subframe. Alright, so a little update on all this. So we got sketchily the subframe out using a system of things that we shouldn't. So we started working on getting all these parts swapped over. So we had the brake lines over here. All that we pulled over and we moved over. I plan on doing new ones eventually, but for now we're just going to run those. They're in pretty good shape. So, but the other problem we're having is with these body mount, or the motor mounts. So the nuts on these are actually bolted in from the back, and there's no way to get to that easily without pulling the control arms out and everything. So what we ended up doing was just welding in the nuts. So we just drilled out these holes a little bigger and welded in the nuts, and that way we can just thread them right into there. So that'll work a lot easier just moving forward with that. And then the steering box, which is right here, we got that all cleaned up. I gotta get this bolt out that broke, but we're gonna get the subframe in. We'll do that another day. It's not too big of a deal. But other than that, we're gonna start getting this thing in. Alright, so we got everything all the way bolted up. We got the engine bolted in. All the body mounts are bolted down. Everything's basically back together. I got the broken stud out of this power steering pump. I'm just throwing some paint on that just to clean it up. So right now I'm just slowly working at getting all this put back together. We still got to put that pump back on, and then all the steering, I had to go through and just tighten all those down and throw the cotter pin in and grease them all up, because I've not done that yet. I have some new calipers we got to throw on these rotors, so I'll show you guys that in a sec. But all in all, it went pretty quick. Was not bad at all. So for this firewall, you can see we got some rust coming through. Because I took the whole AC heater box thing out. And I kind of want to just delete all that. I really want to do like a nice plate on that firewall, and you know, patch all that up. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now, just because I don't have any of it, and I'm kind of rushing to get this back together. So I think possibly this winter I'll pull this engine out and do the firewall, but for now I might just leave it. But I'll definitely address it later. Alright, so we got the front end mainly back together. Got the fenders, the nose on, the hood. So now we got to get the radiator back in, and I gotta jump underneath and get all the steering tightened up. We gotta put the grease in them. I gotta put the calipers on the wheels, so we're gonna have to pull those off, and just kind of a little bit of buttoning up here and there, and then we gotta bleed out the brakes and the steering and a few other things, and hopefully we'll be good to drive. So let's jump into that. Alright, so I got everything under here all tightened up. You can see I got everything greased, so all the steering should be ready to go. I got the coilovers kind of set where I want them to go. That's some anti-seize on there. Yeah, so I got them kind of where I think it's going to sit. I might go a little lower yet, but I want to drive it around just to kind of see if it settles. I got the dust caps on there, and then I got new calipers put on. These are basically just the same as the stock ones. I just figured I'd get new ones. Those ones have been, they're a little old, just so we don't have to worry about it. Got new pads on them. I don't have them connected yet because the bolt that comes with these is a little too big. So I gotta figure that out, whether I get a new line or a new bolt or whatever I have to do. So we're waiting on that, but got the radiator in, got all the lines in, so I can start working at getting all the fluids back in, but we're getting pretty close to being able to drive this thing. Alright, so we just about got everything back together. The engine is running again. There didn't really need too much, I just had to plug some stuff back in. This wiring loom right here, I got that wired back up. When I pulled the front end off, I just cut all that. I didn't really feel like messing with the fuse box up there to try to get it out, so I just cut it. Wasn't really too big of a deal to put back together. And then so we got you can see the red calipers. I got those on, and I believe I probably shouldn't touch the rotor, but I believe I have these bled. I have one of these Harbor Freight pneumatic bleeders, and I'm not really getting a great vacuum seal on the bleeder valve. So hopefully it worked good. I mean, I did it as best as I could. If not, I'll just have to come back and do it again. But all that's hopefully will work. As far as this brake line goes, so like I said earlier, I don't know if I can get an actual good view on it, but the banjo bolt for this was too big for this brake line. So I actually just drilled the end of the brake line out, the block on there, to 7/16 to fit that. And I did that more so I'm just curious to see if it'll work. I believe it should. I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't. I still got, enough meat on there and everything, so hopefully that'll work out well. If not, I can just get a new brake line. I'm not that worried about it. I just didn't really feel like going to get it. And then as far as the sway bar goes, I ended up pulling the one off the old subframe because it was a lot thicker. And I just quickly wire wheeled it down, cleaned it up, and hit it with some gloss black. So this is about dry, so we're going to get that thrown on, and hopefully we can do a test drive today. Alright, so it's dark now. So got it back on the ground, went to go fire it up and drive it, and trans fluid just started going everywhere. Sorry, I'm trying to give you guys a good view of this. Okay, there we go. So this line, when I was putting that back into the radiator, it was having a little bit of trouble threading in, and I thought I got it to where it was threaded in enough, but the second we started driving, it leaked everywhere. So the main thing I could do is just get a new radiator, which I'd actually, like to do. I'd like to get an aluminum one, but that's not really gonna work for right now, and I would like to drive it tonight. So I ran up to O'Reilly's and got just an external trans cooler. I don't know what car it's for. I'm not sure if it's actually for a Ram or what, or if it's just universal. but we should be able to mount this to this somewhere, and I think it'll work pretty good. It actually might work better than what the radiator does, and I've heard it can give the radiator some extra cooling for the engine. So that's what we're gonna do, because I really want to drive this tonight. Okay, so we got that just connected up right there, and then the lines just run right around to where they were before. So I ended up using just some, you can see those brass, I believe they're brass fuel fittings, and they just threaded right up to there, and that allowed us to just connect it using basically all the same connectors. Started it up, there's no leaks, so I'm going to top off the trans fluid, and I think we should be able to drive it. Alright, so it's the next day here. I ended up taking it for a test drive. The oil cooler worked flawlessly. No complaints about that at all. I'm going to do a shakedown video later on actual driving. I got a few things I got to finish up before we do all that, but yeah, for now, we're looking pretty good. Okay, so before we really start driving, I want to really quickly do the rear brakes on this thing. So I'm just going to do, just rebuild the drums for now. I want to do disc brakes eventually, but it's not really in the budget right now, so we're just going to rebuild the drums. This came as a kit with the front disc brakes and pads, so so far I'm liking it, so we'll see how that all goes together. And then the shocks are blown out on this in the back, so I kind of wanted to do something a little different as far as this goes. I didn't really want to spend too much money on getting like actually good shocks, because I'm not really sure what I want to do on the rear so far. So I'm trying out these Monroe load assisted shocks. I believe they're just universal shocks. They were 70 bucks for the pair. I don't expect them to be amazing by any means, but they're gonna definitely be stiff, and that's just kind of what I want. I think it'll just it'll allow us to kind of take off better, corner a little better. So I'm excited to try those out. They're gonna look cool too, so that's always a benefit. And I do believe that's gonna raise the rear end up probably an inch or so, give or take. I'm not positive, but these shocks are gone. They're just non-existent at this point, and those are pretty stiff, so I think we're gonna go up a little bit. If it looks a little out there, I'll probably end up doing a inch or two drop block, just to get it back down. I don't mind where this is sitting right now. If we could go a little lower, that'd be cool, but you know, we'll see when we get there. Alright, so I got both sides of these drums rebuilt. You can see right here I had to replace one of the lug nuts. It broke. It was broke when I got the car, so I just used the air chisel and hammered it out that way, and then I got some bigger washers here and just put it around the lug nut. Sorry, right there, and then just tighten it up. So that's how we did that. And then I got the shocks in. Those are pretty easy to get in. I just jacked the body up and kept it on jack stands. So I got these bled as good as I can for now. I'm kind of rushing this, so I'm just gonna throw the wheels back on, and we'll see if it moves. So let's jump to that. What's up, guys? So I got the Camaro kind of all back together. You can see it's in a different place. So I've done a few things over the past couple of days on it. Fortunately, I didn't have time to record it, but you know, it is what it is. So if you could tell, it's actually sitting a bit lower in the back. All the drums and everything are all finished up, but if you look underneath, I don't know how good of an angle I can get, but I actually installed right there, you can see it. I installed 2-inch drop blocks because, like I was saying, it just was sitting pretty high in the back with the new shocks. So that dropped it down 2 inches. They're pretty quick to install. They just slip right in and put in the new U-bolts, so it wasn't too bad. Also, that lug nut's missing just because I lost it. So, but yeah. So now that I did that, if you look at this front wheel, it's very, very in line with the fender, kind of how I like it. And this back tire is just a lot further in, and it's emphasized more by being lower. So I'm hoping I got a set of I believe they're 1.5 inches. I forgot, might be 1.25 inches. I got wheel spacers off of Summit, so I'm gonna throw those on, and hopefully they'll give it a decent amount. Not poke, I don't want it poking out, but it should even it out a little more. And if it still looks a little too low, then I'll pull that block out, and I'll probably trim a 1/2 inch out, but I'm hoping the wheel spacers will fix this, and we'll be rolling. Alright, and there we go. So I got those wheel spacers on. You can see it's a lot more even. It's actually right about kind of where I wanted it. I would like a hair more out, but if you look at the passenger side, this one is very flush. So I think when I did the drop blocks, I must have shifted the axle a little bit, so it must be kind of off tilt, so that it's causing one side to kind of stick out more. So I gotta mess with that a little bit and just loosen it up and shift it over, and hopefully we can get it centered. And once we do that, it'll actually bring this out to about perfect, right where I think it'll look good. So all in all, it's not too bad. Hopefully the other side doesn't rub in the meantime, but it definitely stances it out a little bit more. And I really like the drop block look. I think it's right where I wanted it. Very even with the front, so that's it was pretty easy too. I had to go get new lug nuts for the wheel spacers that bolt onto the hub, but other than that, it went on pretty smoothly.